Hello and welcome back. I'll try and fly again. Today in Msfs we are looking at one of the default aircraft. Well, default in brackets because you only get it when you have the highest edition, ultimate or whatever it's called. So the 787, Boeing 787. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with the standard edition. But yeah, it used to be an aircraft that I wasn't really flying in a lot because it suffered all the issues that we had with any of the Boeing airliners in Msfs. It wasn't really very good. The whole FMC stuff was to be thrown away. But in the meantime, now after Sim Update 13, which I just installed this weekend, things seem to have changed quite a lot. And I'm going to have a look with a quick try and fly. I'm going to have a look what that actually means. Okay, let's jump into the cockpit. I mean, the modeling of this aircraft was always pretty good. It is quite impressive. It may look a little bit, how should I call it, plasticky to a degree, but yeah, it's okay. It's got very quiet. Let me check what's going on. Now, okay, all these standard, by the way, services. This is not GSX or anything. Okay, and all the doors have closed, so it got actually quiet in this aircraft, but we haven't actually started it up at all. My interest came when I was watching some videos about SU-13, and to be honest, I haven't flown this aircraft once. Well, maybe I've flown it once, but it's a long time ago, and it was sort of in the beginning of FS 2020, and I kind of, okay, I said thank you, but no thank you. It was an aircraft that didn't really, no. I didn't want to use it. It had all the problems with entering routes and what have you at the beginning. So I just sort of, although I had paid for the ultimate or the highest edition of Msfs, and I was kind of a bit miffed that I couldn't really use this aircraft. But I think that has changed now. And we're going to have a look at how that is actually working. And when I was listening to YouTube videos about SU-13, they had the magical word Simbrief. And I thought, wow. I mean, we do have partially Navigraph integration. I think not. I'm not sure with these aircraft, but somehow Navigraph was already partially added. And actually, the best way to use Navigraph is with the Navigraph plugin, which if you have a subscription, I mean, Navigraph is payware. If you have a subscription, you need to, that's the only way that you can use it really here in the sim. By the way, another thing that I found out is, look at this. I didn't even know. I'm not sure how long this is in, but this is now the reality. We have an aircraft, a default aircraft. I know it's in the most expensive edition, but we have actually a hood, a heads-up display. I had to change my view a little bit in order to accommodate the position here. Yeah, so you need to play around a bit with your position. I chose this position because that still allows me to see the rest of the panel. I don't have enough view switches. There are only 10 cockpit views, and I have my standard way of doing cockpit views, and I only have one key. And I had to decide what I want to do. EFB, for example, we are going to see this in a moment. The radios, because I'm now flying more on VATSIM, or the hood, special view of the hood. So yeah, I initially had the EFB. I usually put that on keypad 1, but then during VATSIM flying, I need to switch frequencies, and this is extremely awkward for me to do. So at least that I can do it quickly and not only have to look down, but then the whole airplane is shaking and whatever, and you can hardly read it because it's small. So this way I kind of prepare this here, then I can enter the frequency and can do the transfer. That goes relatively quickly. What it doesn't have is what the fly-by-wire in their in the server offer you in the EFB, namely that they list you all the active VATSIM frequencies. That's absolutely fantastic. And one of the reasons why I decided to fly with the fly-by-wire in Worldflight, which is not taking place in Hamburg this year, because it takes away so much confusion. And being single pilot and not the youngest anymore, I really struggle at times, especially when there's a lot of activity on the frequency, bad quality of sounds, and so on and so forth. But here we don't have this great feature, so I just placed myself here, and then I tweaked the view, the main view, until I had both. I had reasonable visibility. There's still a problem. I would prefer to see the 10,000, but it's not that important, because often what I do is I use this view when I need to get myself an overview of what's happening here. And this is really mostly for flying and looking out. And in this way, I can actually use the hood, which is absolutely perfect. So, tick, you know, a hood. Great. Heads-up display. Fantastic. Now, what's the next checklist? The next checklist, so we have this, the pre-flight checklist. And again, I'm going to be lazy, and if I do a flight, for example, with VATSIM, and I don't have much time for setting up, and I don't want to go all realistic, so what I do is then autocomplete page, and now watch it. Isn't this great? Yeah, you can say now, ah. But, you know, for me, this is fantastic. So they are starting up the APU, everything happens, and I'm actually in the mode that I need to be in. Oh yeah, there was. Checklist. Ha! There we go. I knew that we had something like that. This is the before start checklist now. Can go to the normal menu, and you see there's a pre-flight checklist, which ticks off everything automatically. Again, this is payware level stuff. Okay, and we got that now. Actually, another Try&Fly I'm going to do very soon is also testing the 747, but not the modded version out of the box as it is. Passenger signs. Yeah, well, we're not yet there, but here's the checklist that we're going to use. Now, next. We have Simbrief integration, indeed. And in order to test this reasonably, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to Simbrief and actually create a flight that is matching of what we're doing today, which is the usual Try&Fly. I might actually have one already. Let's see, have I got one? EDDS, EDDM. Yeah, okay, so we'll edit this one. Use current time. I mean, we're not using real-time weather anyway. Notice will reset. Yeah, it's okay. Do it. And then we're going to use the 787. Which one is this actually? Is that a 9 or an 8? Ooh. I'm actually not sure. Let me just quickly check if can we see that here. This is actually a Model 10. Oh, okay. Have we got a Model 10 as well? Yes, we do. So, oh yeah, it's no, it's not. Yeah, or maybe that is actually the working title one, because working title is doing all these modifications. I'm going to use that, which is probably the default anyway, I guess, because there's only one. I don't know. I can't really say. Let's do an auto cost index on. Actually, we do what we always do. So now the routing. APTA for hotel, and I'm going to take out all that other stuff. Magat, analyze route, and we have got more or less the route that I'm flying. That's now possible too. I'm going to do generate flight, and that's about it. I just wanted to show you, have something realistic as an active flight in Simbrief. There we go. We can go out of that. Now, when I go back to the Navigraph window, so bring that here, I can now unload the other flight. I go to import Simbrief. That's not for the aircraft. This is just for me and to show you also. So now we've got the current flight. We can actually see the Simbrief for that. It tells us that we need about 2.89 tons. Not very much, in other words. Yeah, fantastic. Now let's have a look at the EFB. And because I don't have enough keys, getting to the EFB is a bit awkward. But then again, I only use it very rarely. So let's not jump around for the moment. There are only two functions that are working now. I can't imagine that they will not continue also integrating some more of these functions in later sim updates. But at the moment, you can only initialize the flight. We're going to do that now. And you can go to performance. Now the thing is, at this point in time, you can't really do very much, because it offers you the option to do copy from FMC, so the FMC data, but we haven't done that yet. All right. So the EFB, the only way, or the only reasonable way to use the performance takeoff, which is the only function practically that we have right now, is you first go and you enter your flight plan. At least that's the way I found it out. Now I haven't really found documentation. I just updated the sim. I made some very quick tests with this aircraft, and I was reasonably surprised, positively surprised. Therefore, it could be that there are ways of doing this. I just tried around and I found that's the sequence that helped me to actually do these things. So therefore, we're going to go through here. So that's the ident page. We're going to position in it. They did actually switch the IRSs. That needs to be on. Reference airport, you use the keyboard here. It's EDDS. This is very similar to 737. So the whole entry logic here is Boeing. So you should actually find your way around it very quickly if you ever flew in a 737 or even in a 747, which is almost the same. Then comes the route. And the way I set it up is, and that works here as well. What? Again. Oh. Oh, no. I think, yep. Nope. We need to go to route and, yeah, obviously, first enter. From where to to where? It was a bit too quick now. Echo Delta Mike. Usual try and fly route. If you're wondering, this is what we do quite often. taken off from 07 because we have standard weather, almost no wind, doesn't matter though. Flight number is actually test 1, so this is really the first test flight I do in anger. And now watch this. If you have Simbrief, by the way, before you can use that, you have to go to index, settings, second page, and then you give your Simbrief username or ID. Okay. Now, nothing can happen. That's why I show you this, but that's how it works. That you need to do first, otherwise you will get an error message. Where were we? On the route. So now I'm doing route request. And it takes a wee moment. Then it tells you that the flight plan is ready to load or raise. You do load. And now we're going to have a look. It did override our runway, so I'm putting this in again. That's because Simbrief uses real weather. We don't. And go to the next page. See direct APTAL, direct MAGAT, direct EDDM. What I can do now is I can activate the APTA for hotel, which is not much different. And I can also go to EDDM and activate the ILS without any transition, direct. Also that works. And we got the perfect flight plan for our Try&Fly. This is what I always do every single time when I do a Try&Fly. And it works, so far it works like a charm. Then I go in performance init. Now this one doesn't work here. So it will not load performance data, I think. It will send some of your weight stuff, but it will not, you cannot do a request which would then pull something, let's say from Simbrief, the performance data. I don't think that works yet, at least it didn't work for me. But I guess that's not that critical. So the zero fuel weight, by the way, you just click here and then you get the two values, the reserves. Let me see, we have 50 tons of fuel, which is far too much. So in order to change that, what you do is you use the default fuel function here. And yeah, as I say, 50 tons. Let's put this on, let's say 25%. 25.4, and then the zero fuel weight is a bit less. Oops, clear. Yeah. The reserves, yeah, let's put in 5. This is not critical here now. Now, the altitude Simbrief calculated is different to the one that we usually use. Execute. Cost index is 35. It didn't take that from. For some reason, so cruise CG 6%. I'm not sure how. Okay. Anyway, thrust limit. Here I go with a standard. I don't use derate by temperature. I use always the Takeoff 1, which is about 10%. So we end up at around 80 TPR. So takeoff, we're going to use flaps 5 for takeoff. And thrust, yeah, no, we don't have a temperature. And the CG is 24, which is a 4 degrees trim. And I need to check actually with the aircraft where we're trimming and see what we've trimmed in a moment. And then we have actually the V-speeds calculated, which is 151 for the. So, and I'm just checking now. Mobiflight. Oh, X-Plane 12. How come? I got some trouble with Mobiflight these days. and that is, let's quickly check if this is the case. No, today not. I actually put the latest release in because we get pretty bad stutters, but nope. Looks like the replacing of the beta version that I used did fix the problem, hopefully. That's good. So now what we can do is, what did I want to do actually? Oh yeah. So let's put in the values, 151. I use Bravo hardware. That's why I need, I do my buttons. Oh God, this is one of those, okay. You have to be patient, slow. 151. The heading is 72 as usual. I didn't know that you can see 360. Hey, should we see 360? Maybe that's only the initial one. And the altitude is 14,000. Put that in already. Flight directors are already on. All the throttles are already armed. Very good. And when we look at the progress, we can see nicely, yeah, we're using about 2-point-something tons. We still land with 23 tons in Munich, but that's okay. I mean, these big aircraft, they should have a certain basic weight to be realistic. Yeah, the good thing here in this also is the displays. As usual, you can bring them out. They are huge when you bring them out. So I need to actually make them small. But the good thing is, in one display, I have all I need, which is very practical. So I have this now externally, so that I see sort of navigation and everything else, which is very good. Right, I think we're more or less done here. Yep, you can do holdings. Then I'm not sure. Oh, I just realized data link ready. I'm not sure that that works. That's the performance page. Send forecast. Well, who knows? Position report? Okay. I have no idea how accurate this is, so this is interesting. Request wind data. Let's do that. Now that wouldn't be correct because we don't have that wind. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's interesting. Let's go to performance again. Performance. Did it override any of my? No, it didn't. Right? Okay. I have to check. Probably somewhere in a forum. There must be documentation, but just as I say, I haven't had time to go through this. And usually Try&Flys, I try to be sort of intuitive. How intuitive is this aircraft when you know a little bit about Boeing? That's basically what it is. Right then, passenger signs. So I guess let's do the before start engine procedure. And the passenger signs are now on. Now let's check the checklist. Passenger signs are on. MCP, the V2 is 151, heading track is 072, altitude is 14,000 or flight level 140. In our case, takeoff speeds, takeoff speeds. Speeds, okay, so takeoff. 136, rotation 142, and V2 is 151. CDO Preflight is completed. Trim. We are supposed to have 4.0 units, and I need to quickly check where you do this now. I guess we need to find the right page. actually it's not too bad because I can just come up here. Let's go to the flight control page and then check. Yep. We need to bring this to 4.0. Which is a bit strange, but it's still in the green, so we're fine. Rudder trim is 0. Cool. Taxi and takeoff briefing, yeah, we know our way around here. Beacon is on, checklist is complete. Now, isn't that great? So that was the before start. Which one was that now? No, that was the before start, yeah. That's now the before taxi comes, yeah. But we're not there yet. So would be now next would be the starting engine. Again, this is something that I can actually automize. But before that, we need to actually push back. So let's assume we have received our pushback clearance. Now let's quickly check that up here everything is as it's supposed to be. So the ground power is disconnected, the APU is running. Here we have, oh, this is all automatic, left pack, right pack, everything is automatic, trim air, that's the outflow valve. So it's not like in the 737s, a bit more automatic stuff here. It seems that we don't have anything in the center tank, so let's turn that one off. And yep, so we've got the beacon on, the logo lights we don't really need. And that means, yeah, the hydraulics have been turned on as well. That's here. So the electric pumps are on. Normally you would check with your ground staff that you are supposed to do this. The doors, I think they're all closed. So what we can do is we can quickly check on the door page. Yep, everything is closed. That means we are ready for pushback, and for pushback I'm going to use one of these functions here. That means we need to call the truck. With the pushback, that's a difficult story. So I used to have Pushback Express. Pushback Express has stopped working, and I haven't been able to get Pushback Express back to working after X updates. I haven't had time yet to again sift through another forum with I don't know how many entries to find what am I doing wrong here. You know, maybe it's something that I have. So at the moment, my problem really is that I don't seem to be able to push back. Now what I do is I use Pushback Express to measure where I want to go. And then I use FS Flight Control during flight scenarios. I use FS Flight Control, which is also a secondary map for me, and it allows me to do certain other things. For example, position myself on positions on an airport. For example, if I connect and someone else just spawns on top of me, it's very easy for me to actually use FS Flight Control and jump to another position where I see no one. FS Flight Control has a very good option to show me also traffic, even AI traffic. So I then see where is there still a free spot. I just point there, let it jump to that, and done. You know, for example. So I push back with that one. I measure how far with Pushback Express, then I kill Pushback Express. At the moment, I don't use GSX. GSX is no, I'm not going to go into that. I just don't like it. Let's call it that. Right. Now let's release the parking brake, which we have done, and we start with the pushback. I have a sort of a slow speed, and now what I'm going to use is the automatic checklist from Asobo, and it will start our engines while we are watching that thing pushing back. Maybe I should leave that open. And let me quickly Where am I here actually? Oh yeah, I think we need to... Nope. The other way around. Actually, in this combination, the pushback and engine start is actually quite easy peasy. It's not realistic, I know, but hey. This uses the default functionality, but you can also give a bit the speed and all that. So I think it's a really good combination. And I guess that's enough. I set the parking brake. I send them away. And we've got a pushback aircraft. Let's go back. Here you see. And yes, here comes now the... So anti-ice is not required. For some reason we still have off on the packs. Sometimes it might need... Okay. Well, I do the... Anyway. Okay. That might have been with the APU. And I can hear now the airflow. Okay, so that's a little bit, let's say... no, not unusual, but... I don't know. I don't know if it's wrong or right, if the real 787 does it like that. But we have started. Easy peasy. I like it. So let's go on the stat, Enghut, fuel, hard to read, door, CB, maintenance, EFIS, flight controls, gear. Can I do... So this is the... So where's the selector? Yeah, hang on, here. I want left, right, engine. No, that was not it. Right. MMM. Where's my thinking mistake? I'm probably doing something wrong. Most likely. Info. System. Engine. Okay. Hang on. Yeah, so I actually want the large ND here. So how do I do that? ICAS. So we got it now. And then I do the ND on the small one. Sorry. So that the non-existent copilot also has a display. So it takes a moment, but actually all of that is implemented. Yeah, look at that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And not only that, see this? They are separate. They're really individual. Me's I like it. Let's continue. So the before taxi we've done. And also the checklist. Well, anti-ice is okay. Oh, the recall. So how do you check recall? I think it's somewhere here. Reject, cancel recall. Yeah, checked. Flight controls. Oh yeah, let's have a look. For that, I guess we need to switch to the flight control page again. System, flight control. Yep. And then, no, what was that? Andy. Yep. Flight controls check. Ground equipment is clear. And the APU is off. Checklist is completed, and next is the before takeoff checklist, which only checks the flaps, which it has put on flaps 15. So what the heck? Let's go with that. We need to actually taxi. We are right beside the runway entry. So in my quick test yesterday, I traveled down the runway and then I realized, oops, I've passed it. When did I pass it? And then I realized I didn't use the normal stands, which are further up along here, straightforward. Yeah. Anyway, parking brake off. Taxi light, is already on. Cool. Clear on the left. You can use the rudders to steer. I have separate thrust levers, so I got 2, so I can do differential thrust. You can use differential thrust. So I personally think this is a really nice combination. And hang on, I forgot to show you one of the new features. Okay, I'm not sure if we can still do it now, but I completely forgot. Because this went so smooth, actually, that I completely forgot to show you this. You can copy the data from the FMC. It puts in ETDS 07. You can define that it's a dry condition. Thrust rating is takeoff 1. Flap config is 15. AI config, that's ice, is off. And that one, I don't know. This doesn't work. CG is 24. The wind in our case is actually 270 with 2, but I haven't yet found out how to enter this. So heading crosswind. So I think it's the crosswind, and I think we need to give crosswind component here. So 0, and the OAT is actually 15 degrees. And then you can press on calc. And I'm not sure what ATM means. And you can send that actually over. So actually with what we entered now and flaps 15, our V2 is 145. So I'm going to send this output. See if that does anything here. Very nice. So let's quickly amend our V2. Because this is more realistic. The other thing has been calculated by real weather, but we don't have real weather here. God, almost forgot to show you that. That's new. That is really great. So that's actually the first aircraft, like that's not an expensive payware, which calculates the V speeds like this. And I'm looking forward to check out the Boeing. And I think the Boeing, I hope I'm not lying, I think the Boeing comes with the standard edition, the 747 I mean. I think it's the 787 that is extended. Seem to have a little bit of a stutter thingy. Very ever so slightly. I'm going to use the full runway. So I'm really going here. I'm not going to use this here. Yeah, it's unfortunately it's Mobiflight again. So I still have to figure out why Mobiflight is causing stutters. Could be that plugin that I'm using. So let's get stopped here. Parking brake is on. That's the before takeoff flow, and we're going to check. So I'm going to run the before takeoff flow, and then flaps is 15 is set. Yeah, good. Okay, I'm not sure what's supposed to happen here. Oh, I know. I think I know why we have this. Let's go here. Thrust limit, takeoff. It actually says 15 here. Okay, I can't do. Oh, accept. Check is complete. Ah, probably because of the changes we did. Cool. Now, what do you say? I think this is fantastic. I really like it. And the combination of the checklist and the flows, especially when you are busy with other things as a single pilot in this airplane, this is almost the level that you have with something like FS2 Crew, just that nobody is speaking. I don't know if you can make it speak, but I'm not sure I really want to. All right then. So we are ready. Let's line up. I use this as a kind of a taxi view. The scenery is from field air. So and so. Na, as we say in German, man soll den Tag nicht vor dem Abend loben. Don't praise the day before the evening. At the moment, I am reasonably impressed with this aircraft, but that doesn't mean that everything will go okay during the flight. So there's still the potential for it messing up. So let's wait and see. Yeah, Mobiflight is causing stutters again. It's really a pity, because I really want to use my hardware, but at the moment it's giving me grief, and it's so different. I had even worse stutters, and then on other days there's no stutter at all, and I haven't yet figured it out. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to stop Mobiflight. No point. And that should prevent the stutter from happening, I hope. Let's see. I can always check it like this. Yeah, looks like it. Now, I apply a bit of power, and then it's a bit awkward because it seems that I haven't found the right, or this is probably a special command, so you click here. And off we go. Take off. Whoop. 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 What's going on? Hello? I can't steer. What did I say about the evening? What the? Nope. Really now? I did do that yesterday. No, I can't steer. So what the heck was that? Guys, really now? I shouldn't have said anything. Okay, so rudders are fine. Let's see if those rudders are... Well, sort of, yeah. Let's see if the wheels... Well... have we missed something here? With the steering or so? I see if I can actually steer on the ground. Let's see, maybe my autopilot played us a trick here. And now I can steer. Oh, that's not good. It's good that we have a bit more fuel in than we need. Why? And here I was really convinced we have something great, and then it does something crappy like that. Let's hope this is the only crappy thing that happens, and that we figure out why. So I'm rolling back now. I was talking too early. And I can't steer anymore. Oh, you know what? Oh, shit. No, it's not the aircraft. This is this completely idiotic bit schissen, as we say in German. The fact that when you have an outside window and you happen to click here, look, I'm steering like mad. Now it steers. Oh, no, really? This is big. It's okay when it's inside, it's not okay when it's outside. I've completely forgot about it. Okay, so it's not the aircraft. Thank God. That would have been a real disappointment. It's a Zobo. Please. This is an absolute no-go, and you can see what happens. This is the kind of crap that happens when you use Windows outside. Well then, let's put the checklist here. Let's do that again. And you sometimes don't even realize that you're outside, you know, because sometimes it's enough to just have the mouse accidentally activate the window you don't know, or you can't remember doing it, and then things like that happen, yeah. On takeoff, that is, well, we survived it. So let's do that again. By the way, you can use the procedure as well. It's not very realistic if you have it in here, but what the heck now? Now that we know what happens if you don't. Oh. Mm-hmm. By the way, the same problem I have also with these windows that I'm putting out, like the PFD. I need to be careful that I don't accidentally activate it, because then I get the same problem, yeah. Oh, we didn't do LNAV and VNAV. Let's activate them very quickly. V1, rotate. Ooh. Gear up. Whoa, that flight director is going all over the place. Oops. Okay, let's activate the autopilot and see what it does with it. Flap speed, I think we are already beyond. So let's go on flaps 10. Flaps 5. Flaps 1. And flaps up. I didn't do the RTO. That's why we didn't get brakes. Yep, forgot that one. It's not part of the checklist, or maybe it was. I didn't see it. Yeah, could be. Okay, after takeoff, landing gear up, flaps up. Yep, it's done. We are now in the climb. Taxi and landing lights above 10,000. Seatbelt selectors. It's a nice. It helps you with doing these steps and not forgetting. So I quite like it in general. Also good is that we have both here. We have the navigation display, albeit a bit smaller, but that's okay. And the actually primary flight display, sort of the EHSI, EADI, or whatever you call them in other aircraft. For me, this is actually quite good because, being careful now, let's click back in here. All right. It's actually quite good, yeah. So that's a 10,000. And next is the descent. Here you see, by the way, got the call sign, the current frequency that's set, and yeah, transponder, well, cell cal, the tail number. You can, I guess you can change the tail number. This is now the standard Azobo. And here you need to enter, by the way, the dot, and then you use the transfer to make it 100. 1228. We had a tail strike. Nah, we didn't. we had a tail strike, yes. That means we need to go to, oh god, that'll be a lot of discussions with the chief pilot. Yeah, okay. After takeoff checklist, yeah, is done, and then the descent checklist is the next. As you can see, we don't have the stutter now because I actually turned off. So when I put run on again, let's see. That's the thing. Sometimes it's enough to turn it off and then on again. And during flight, it doesn't do. Now, there is one thing that I realized yesterday. We can see the top of descent, which is roughly correct. But it suddenly disappeared then, and we never got the vertical path. We're going to check this today again. Also with the radio frequencies, I'm expecting the radio frequency to be put in here automatically because we did select it. I hope we did. ILS 08 left. So at some point we should actually see the ILS frequency showing up here. So mobile flight is now working, which means I can now use the hardware again without stutters. Ah, well. So we're almost at Abtal. This is the aircraft is relatively light because we don't have much payload and fuel in it. Therefore, it was kind of climbing a bit like a rocket. So what's our setting here? Ah, that was on auto. Okay, we'll leave it on auto. Yeah, it's a plan view, and you can turn certain things on or off. It's actually very nice. So I'm reasonably impressed. So we got here the constraints. Traffic, which is important when you're running on VATSIM or so. These don't work. And that's the data. So it gives you the expected timing. That's actually quite good, yeah. Unfortunately, the views always have two modes. I still need to figure out why that is and get rid of the ones I don't want. You need all these jumps when it's suddenly somewhere completely different. That's something I haven't yet figured out in Msfs. But then again, I don't have much time these months, so eventually I'll find it. Usually I find it reading forum entries, but this takes so much time, and I would wish that I don't have that problem in the first place, but hey, it's not a big problem. I can live with it. So I can already put in the auto brake 1 now. And I'm going to put in 5,000. I know it's a bit early for that, but what the heck. And hopefully this time the top of the descent will show the vertical path. I'm not sure if it is. Actually, the VNAV path as a mode is shown here. Yeah, so it shows VNAV path here. And when we reach the top of the descent, I hope we see something like the path deviator. I'm not sure what it's called. So let's see here. Yeah, well, we don't yet have the ILS. It's parked. I'm not sure why. I need to watch out for that. But so far I have to say, so the avionics and everything, this is really good. This is, it might not be fully realistic Boeing and all that, but it's sufficient for what we are doing. Top of descent is good, even if it's not 100% correct. So what? If the ballpark is okay, I don't mind. And then we have what I call the descent banana. So this green half circle that shows you when you will reach your dialed altitude or descent or climb. I'll call it banana because it looks a bit like a banana. That's an important one because that helps you get for example, from VATSIM you get at Magat B at 5,000. And with the descent banana, you can see, is my descent sufficient to reach that altitude by that waypoint? Otherwise, you would have to guess. Yeah. And guessing in flying is suboptimal. Doesn't always work. Yeah, it has terrain, by the way, I think. Let's leave that on for the moment. And it has weather radar, and theoretically it also has traffic. Yeah. You can center your display, but that's a little bit microscopic. We're almost at the top of descent. Let's see what happens. We are in VNAV mode. I would normally expect, this is not an Airbus. An Airbus you would have to do it yourself, but in the Boeings it should now show that thingy here, that line with a center and then sort of the deviation from the vertical path. And it should automatically, because I have put in 5,000, should automatically start with a descent. If it does that, then I'm a happy camper. It didn't do that yesterday when I tested things. Here we go. I must have done something wrong. Cool. Easy peasy. Like it. So far, this is VATSIM material. This is really VATSIM material. If all that works also with more complex flight scenarios, I have no issue using something like that on VATSIM. Knowing that working title is behind all that, so that's usually a sign for quality. So we are now on the descent. Cancel, recall, switch, push, auto brake selector as needed. Next is the approach checklist or procedure. Oops. Descent, recall is checked, auto brake 1 is set. Landing data. Indeed, we're going to land with flaps 30, 142. Approach briefing is completed. Yeah, we know our way around here. Checklist complete. Next is the approach checklist. Until you see the descent banana. It's before Magat, which is good. That means we reach 5,000 somewhere slightly before Magat. Yeah, I know, tail strike. I have to give it maintenance. It's going to be all over me. Well, we are a little bit on the fast side, right? Let's use the speed brake and see how no, hang on, this is actually intended speed. So why is this in the red? No, 240. Okay. So I help a little bit because we need to come down with the speed. And what you can see now is at 10,000, okay, it's one of those aircraft where you really need to be aware of this. I'm helping a little bit by giving a little bit of speed brake so that our descent starts again. Caution. Speed brake extended. Yes, I know. We need to be at 5,000 because otherwise the intercept might not work. Therefore, I'm helping it a little bit. Not sure why we're not descending with more. So it's done the 10,000 stuff, did it? Yeah. This is really weird because okay, so the speed brake the speed brake actually seemed to have messed up the calculations. Should I do a speed intervention here? No, maybe not, man. Let's just have it do its job. I think it might work out. The way it looks now on the display, we're probably okay. That's always the danger when you start messing. Yep, we're okay. We are okay. So since we have standard anyway, 2013, I can complete this one. And then comes the landing checklist. I don't think we want to automatically do this one. So speed brake armed, landing gear down, flaps, yeah. Now let's check the RadNav. Yep, 109.5, 80, cool, everything is okay. And for testing purposes, I will actually activate the approach mode when we're getting close. At the moment we are 9 miles. So when we are in 2 to 3 miles from Magat, I'm going to activate the approach mode to see what happens. It should not. The reason why I'm not doing it right now is because, see, the glide slope, oh yeah, we're under the glide slope. So that's okay, localizer is far away. But you have to be careful. If you activate in many aircraft, if we are under the center line with that diamond, we will not intercept the glide slope. And that's a problem. Then your approach is basically, you can switch to manual and hopefully can rescue it, but yeah. So I'm always checking before I activate the approach mode, but I also want to see what happens if you do it too early, because there are aircraft that get all over the place then. So let's turn it on now. Nothing happens. Good. That's not bad. And in the end, the descent worked out really good. Cool. Nice. I am happy with this. So, we're almost at 5,000, altitude alert. The glide slope is now in, but the localizer isn't yet. We're not yet on along the line. Let's see what happens if it gets a problem with intercepting both. Because sometimes the localizer must be active before the glide slope. So sometimes the glide slope doesn't activate on its own. We shall see if that's the case here too. Okay, localizer green, glide slope green. That means it has caught them both. Wow, cool. Then flaps 1. And now speed is mine. Flaps 5. Here's the terrain. Flaps 10.
2500.
And flaps 15. Gear down. And we're also going to check what happens when we do an auto land. Let's turn off terrain and see, does it make a difference in the performance? Not really. Flaps, oh yeah. And let's go to the 145 plus 5, so about 148. Yeah. 25. Flaps 30. So VREF plus 5. Yeah, 141 plus 5, 146. We have rollout and flare, that means it is able to do an auto land, and we are obviously watching this now. Let's see what it does. Oh, by the way, you also get the airport layout. Incomplete, what? CWL, can't read this. CWL incomplete something. Does that mean you can't do an auto land? Do I need to take over? Probably some mode that's not correct. No, we're not going to do anything now. Just let it land.
50, 40, 30.
We are not really centered, it seems. Alright, I'm switching to reverse. Okay, switching to reverse. Don't seem to work, so I'm using F2. $60 knots. Reverse off. Manual braking. And off we go. And I can't steer again, but that might be something different. Yes, that's the autopilot. I had to turn off the autopilot, I forgot. Because it keeps it on the runway, center line. Taxi light was never turned off, so yeah. Oh, actually didn't use this one, so let's do that. And it will also start the APU then. Yup. Also, good thing this aircraft doesn't just keep accelerating like mad, like some aircraft do. This actually stays pretty much on the speed. So the acceleration is very tiny. Yes, it will become a little bit faster over time, but not on the rate, for example, the fly-by-wire keeps doing. Fly-by-wire becomes a race car very quickly if you don't watch out. This one doesn't. And in turns like this, it actually gets slower. I guess it will accelerate again. See, we are on the straight. We are on the straight one. Yes, so in turns it will slow down, obviously, because of the wheel now being turned, the front wheel being turning, and on straight taxi it will start accelerating. I can see a very slight stutter, but not as bad as yesterday. But what I can do is I can turn Mobiflight off, because we don't need it anymore. Okay, so that's a way to use Mobiflight, but only have it on when we need it. That's okay. I can live with that. Until I find out what it is. So apart from the crap that happened due to Mobiflight, or to external windows, oh look at this, yeah, that again want to show you. It's not perfect, but it gives you a good indication of where you are. It's quite nice. I don't think you can see actual data. Oops. Yeah, and that's it. So there are no taxi information, but for that, if you have it, obviously you can use, for example, the Navigraph charts. Oh yeah, I could have loaded the flight from the whoops. Yeah, so here we go. So this is like an EFB now, the Navigraph charts, and yeah, worthy of a 787 and the likes. So next is then the shutdown procedure. Landing checklist, yeah, shutdown checklist is the next. Whoops, I accidentally tipped on the brakes. Well, what can I say? Really like it. This has become a very usable, almost standard add-on. Unfortunately, as I say, you need the ultimate or whatever it's called, the most expensive edition of Msfs to get this. I'm not sure if you can get the 787 sort of as a purchase. Would be great if you could, because then that means you could actually get yourself a particular aircraft from the extended edition. But I don't know if Microsoft allows to do that. I don't think so, but maybe they do. I don't know. And for me personally, I'm now happy that I got the most expensive edition, because at the beginning I said I could have saved myself some money here, because these aircraft are unusable, like the 787. So I wasn't really a happy camper with it at the beginning, but now we are really let me see, is that display helping us? Not really. Okay. Turn off the taxi lights and the runway turn-off lights, as to not. By the way, I also have a lights menu here, where I can turn off and on lights as long as they're standard aircraft. Flow Professional is one of those game changers for me, personally. I know, again, it's payware and it has its price, but I am actually, I'm quite happy with it. Was it? Yeah, well, this is is it Simwings or what's it called? It's the payware Munich, and I would have expected to see something there, but oh well. Here we go. All right then, let's do the shutdown. Parking brake is set. It sometimes looks as if certain things they cannot check. Or maybe sometimes you don't need the parking brake because you use some chocks or so. Could be. What I can do now again is go to this part here of the ground services here, and now let's do jetway. Let's get the luggage. Let's connect the ground power. Yeah, you can open doors. By the way, these aircraft now have working doors. What was that? Oh, that's the jetway, that's the stairs. Yeah, the ramp or stairs. Very simple stuff, but for me this is more than sufficient. I don't need GSX. As long as aircraft support doors and external stuff like this, I don't really need GSX. To me it works well. The pushback is the only thing, but again, there are options with which to replace this, so I don't really mind. Alright, that's it. That's the new, out-of-the-box Boeing 787 after Sim Update 13. If you have the, whatever it's called, Ultimate, whatever, the most expensive edition of Msfs. Yeah, I have to say, definitely an aircraft now that I'm going to use in the future. And not sure if I managed to do it today, but there will be another try and fly of the 747. And as far as I know, the 747 belongs to the standard edition. So I'm really looking forward to see what they've done in the 747-8 that comes with this simulator. That's it. Thanks for watching. Until next time.